I wanted to get into this a little bit. We're talking about VR. We're talking about everything I can't wait to get into in the future of gaming, man. I want to be immersed. I want to see VR in Star Citizen. I want to see VR come to titles. You know, the fact that Elite, I'm going to talk about Elite today, so you're going to see me blow up. But the fact that Elite basically dropped their VR support, one of the dumbest things that I've ever seen. David Robin actually stepping down. We're going to talk about Elite soon because they came out with a new update. But back on track here, the VR world is something I can't wait for. I really want to immerse myself in it. And I'm seeing here from Thrill Seeker, who has 500, almost 600,000 subscribers, somebody who commented on our channel and said, hey, DG, love what you're doing. You're pretty succinct on everything that you've watched. You know, your points were great. Dude has 600,000 subscribers and took the time to comment on one of our highlights here. So props to Thrill Seeker for that. Thank you. I shared that with my girlfriend, Christy, and she was like, oh my gosh, that was really cool. Yeah, because you don't expect that. You don't expect that level of interaction when people get much larger, you know, in size in their subscriber base. That's something I aspire to, that I will always make sure to connect with my fans. It's integral to building a community to keep that connection. It's nice to have everybody here live. Thank you for showing up today. And, you know, if you're watching this on YouTube, go over to Twitch channel, check the schedule, see when I stream live, and you can join us here. And if you are watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. Help us out. Beat that evil algorithm. Let's check out what he's going to say. I take what this guy says very seriously, by the way. He is like the pioneer in this space. He's literally leading the way. And he's exactly what I want to see from somebody in this space. He's very eclectic. He's just like different. He's just got like this futuristic vibe about him. He doesn't give a shit about what anybody says about him. He's just naturally himself, and I like really appreciate that when it comes to who I'm watching. Like I always, when I watch content, people that like suck me in, people that like keep my attention, are people that aren't afraid to be themselves. That just put everything out there. This is the way it is. They're not self-conscious. They're just putting out the content. And I really appreciate that. It's a rare thing. It's a very rare thing on YouTube's platform and many others.
Hello and welcome to Tuesday, your #1 resource for the entire week's worth of VR news. Massive changes are coming to the Quest and Oculus software in general that are going to affect millions of Oculus users. Quest 2 gets the V42 update, the Valve Index now has a wireless accessory that's pretty expensive, and more info on Meta's next VR headset. All that and so much more. Let's just get right into it.
Dude, they're gonna corner the space. I'm telling you, ever since the name change and the data, right? Because they're worried about data and keeping that data because that's their profit maker, and that's why the name change, and that's why they've distanced themselves from the Facebook franchise. Meta essentially becoming like he's morphing it into something that's going to be killer in the space, and people are underestimating him. And yes, he is a robot. Mark Zuckerberg is a robot, an android in every form and fashion. But he is good at figuring out the connections in terms of social capacity and design on a platform. He understands the interconnections between people and their wants, and creating a platform that gives them what they want. He did it with Facebook, you know. So he's going to do it with Meta. He's going to do it with Meta. They might not do it first, but I think they're going to conquer the space and become the centralized platform. You know, now we need is a good decentralized one to combat the evil forces of the Zuck.
The news. So let's start off on something pretty interesting. Recently, a report popped up that
I think that's a great thing to say, Kuber. I think that Microsoft in the AR space is going to take the prize. Kuber says, I think Microsoft is going to blow Facebook away in the VR AR space, actually. Microsoft is going to, we used to call Mr. Softy back in the day as a trader. Their ticker symbol on the stock exchange was MSFT, right? And Microsoft never used to move. The price action on Microsoft was $30 forever back in 2008-ish. And it would literally never move. It just stayed stable like a flat line. And we used to call it Mr. Softy because it would never fucking do anything. And boy, have Microsoft come far. I think Microsoft is going to Kuber. I think Microsoft is going to dominate the AR space completely. The VR space still up for grabs. I really think Meta is going to take a big size chunk out of it. You know, I don't want them to. I really don't, because I've seen how they manipulated the data. I've seen how they exploited people. It's a horrible thing what Facebook has done. But really, I think that Meta is going to try and space themselves far away from that Facebook franchise. They don't want to have that on their hands because it's not cool, you know. So they're going to do their best to like rebrand themselves as Meta, you know.
A very real Halo VR game was in development by 343. Codenamed Reverie, this was a full-on Halo VR game that was in the early stages of development, and was supposed to feature a full-on story mode with players playing as Master Chief. And we even got to see some of the concept art, which actually looks pretty awesome. However, 343's narrative director states that the idea never really left the concept stage.
VR Halo?
It didn't really make sense for the studio because of the unique challenges of making a good VR game, and the small user base at the time really didn't make the project financially viable, stating, quote,
"And it is a small demographic right now, but it will grow. Like this space, we talked about this exclusively last week. We talked about how like this space is going to blow up. What is going to happen is the people with the money, the people who have the means to basically find a developer themselves and pay them like out of pocket directly to the developer is really how this space is going to explode, because those experiences are going to be premier. Those experiences are going to be juicy. Those are the experiences that people want from VR. VR right now to the general public and the masses is pretty fucking awesome. You know, all you have to do is spend a few fucking hours in them and you're lost in them. But that premier spice where the VR is so fucking good that you don't want to take the headset off and you don't want to join reality again is actually here. And that is the exotic VR. And that VR is for people like Thrill Seeker. That's why I love watching Thrill Seeker, because he like pushes the space. You get to see like the edge, the most recent shit in VR. And that stuff is going to filter down. And like I said, 11 years, the gaming industry is going to shift. It's going to primarily go to VR, and they're going to find a way to make everything compatible, all the hardware, and it will be relatively cheap eventually. But right now, it's in that premier exotic phase for the really good VR.
Especially in 2017, there were a lot of hard challenges.
Also, don't have to worry anymore, because basically Thrill Seeker, like it was funny here. Void Dude says it will blow up when a good VR headset is as common and affordable as a decent smartphone. Exactly, Void Dude. Exactly. Commander Fee says, please give me one more game where I accidentally dash into my furniture. And I will say this, if you missed it, if this interests you, Fee, go to the channel, right? Type up VR and on my channel, and you'll see the video where this guy did a Ready Player One setup. He set up all of his VR equipment. Trust me, none of it was compatible, and he took the time to set it up, and he had something he ran on that looked like a tin foil dish. Ash here in chat, our mod, super mod, by the way. Ash, thank you. Thank you, Ash, for being here and helping out, by the way, today, bro. I love you, man. Ash told me that he spent $10,000 on a prototype, and this dude was literally walking and running in this thing. You remember that, Ash, when we watched that, dude? Fee, you got to check this thing out. Yeah, Fee watch it too. Dude, you're not going to run into any furniture, dude. Like, that's the thing. That's what's going to happen. So that problem is solved. You know, so there are problems in VR right now, right? Serious physical problems about VR, and they're being solved. Like they actually are solved. So problems that you're thinking about, you know, are gone actually. That was yesterday. Today, they're solved. So that's where I'm saying, like, this is the progress in this space, and that's why I'm saying 11 years top, and you're going to see a complete shift in the gaming industry. And in this industry, it doesn't just have to be gaming, by the way. It's in almost every industry. This is going to touch all industries, forms of communication, you know, the medical industry for AR, the automotive industry, the manufacturing industries, like just the AR potential, not the VR potential. The AR potential is going to be through the roof. The VR potential on communications for corporations through the fucking roof. You go to your work. You're somebody who needs to be at a board meeting or somebody who needs to be at a work meeting, right? Boom. You can't get to where you're at because nobody's working from their fucking work anymore. Everybody's working from home for the most part because of what happened to us. And so that's still going on, and people actually are like, dude, I'm more productive at home and I do more things. This is what corporate America is finding out, that people are more productive working from their homes, believe it or not. They're getting more work out of them working from their house. And it makes sense because people are more relaxed in their homes and they're like, hey, you know, they feel guilty, like, oh, maybe I need to actually work. And they're actually producing more from their house than they're producing from where they're working, which is crazy. So a lot of corporations are downsizing and they're saying, well, why am I leasing this huge, like 10,000 square foot space? You know, a lot of insurance companies, like my girlfriend, Christy, works for Farmers. They had a huge place up around Independence, Ohio that she worked at, right? Well, guess what? They're downsizing. They don't want to lease that space anymore because they don't need the space, and they're cutting their expenses. They're cutting their costs. And guess what? Christy's working from home. She's been working home for 2 years, and they're fine with it. For what Christy does, she can work from home. And guess what? Christy's more productive at home because she feels more guilty that she's not, that they're going to be like, oh, you're not doing work because you're at home. So she's actually producing more. And I told her, I said, slow down. Slow that shit down. But this is what's happening. And because of that, what you're going to see in the VR space is you're going to see a lot of the VR invade into the communication space because people are working from home, slip on your fucking headset, see people in a VR reality, talk to people in a VR reality. So there's a lot more industries just in gaming that this is going to hit. It's going to be big. 11 years. And I really think that Meta and I think Microsoft, I think Kuber's right with Microsoft is going to be big in this space. Meta's going to be big in this space. And these are all the centralized names. These are all the centralized corporate names. And one of the reasons I love blockchain and decentralization is because it goes against all that bullshit. Like I would consider this channel DG360 somewhat a decentralized away from the platform channel because I want to create an environment with people that organically find really cool things to watch and don't rely on the YouTube algorithm. So what we're doing is a decentralized form of what is a centralized platform, right? So that's kind of what I want to see in the VR world is like competitors, decentralized competitors that go up against the Metas, that go up against the Microsofts. But we'll see.
Is to overcome with VR. Most prominently, the fact that it was only available to a small subset of people, end quote. Which actually reminds me of the video I just made last week where I talked about those exact kind of issues in VR game development. But this still looks really cool, and I think Halo in VR is—
What's not true? DXR is disagreeing with me. That's okay, dude. You can disagree. What DXR says, not true. Creators, sure, but regular workers, programmers, nope in general. I'm leading 80 people, multi-specialized teams. I don't know. Are you talking about people working from home? I'm not quite sure what he's talking about. I'm sorry, DXR. I should have been following up on what you're saying. I would love to have a discussion with you.
Something I'm always going to want. I've always loved the franchise. And getting to play as Master Chief to smack around grunts just sounds like a lot of fun. And not many people know about this, but 343 did actually make and publish a Halo VR game. Sorta. In 2017.
I don't know. I mean, like, from the statistics that the large corporations are pulling from, they're showing that people are actually, like, producing more in their output from their house. Now, this is in the communication field. I don't know what you're into. He's talking about multi-specialized teams, but there's data being pulled from larger corporations, especially insurance companies that I researched, that's saying that the people that are working in the communication side of things are actually producing more output. They're producing more from home than they were at work. But that's in the communication field. I don't know what you're getting into, you know. DXR, it sounds like he's leading a multi-specialized team of 80 people, but he cannot talk about the work. It's very special. I will not ask you anything about this 80-man multi-specialized team. Oh yeah, that's right. All of them mercenaries, built and ready and trained by DXR to kill upon command. That's right, DXR is our new
2017, they released Halo Recruit, something you can still download for free and play, but it's not exactly good or engaging.
DXR's like, listen, if you're talking about insurance, okay, I'm going to give you that. I'll give you that. If you're talking highly specialized killers, contract mercenary cold-blooded killers, you don't know your shit, DG. You don't know what you're talking about. And I'm sorry, DXR. Please don't have them come over to my house, please. I swear. Please don't do that. I'll be good. I agree with whatever you say,
DXR. Now, some sort of sad news before we get on to meta. 2 classic VR games have just been announced they will be shutting down forever. Spark, a Tron-like competitive game, and Eve Valkyrie. Both announced they will be shutting down their servers on August 5th, and no longer will anyone be able to play these games. And this is kind of sad because Valkyrie is an important part of VR history. It was one of, if not the first VR game ever announced, especially by a large publisher. And while, to be honest, I haven't launched the game in years, I do look back on it fondly. And it is kind of crazy to think that these games released 6 years ago. VR really has come a long way in that time. And while it is kind of weird, champ, that people paid for these games, and I'm sure there are at least a couple people that still play Eve Valkyrie, actually, I just looked, and yeah, Valkyrie has sat at 0 players for a long time now. So yeah, some pretty lonely servers, and I get why they're shutting them down. I guess all I can say is rest in peace, Valkyrie and Spark. You will forever be remembered in VR history as some of the very first full VR games ever. But now onto the big game-changing present tense. You may or may not be aware of the weird debacle that is the Oculus account system. In the past, for VR content, we had Oculus accounts, and these were standalone accounts that you could use for anything and everything VR, and you didn't need anything else tied to it. It was similar to a Steam account or Xbox Live account. Then in 2020, Facebook changed everything when they started.
Oh my God, Fingers is so right. A VRChat game would be kick-ass baller. I totally agree, Fingers. I remember seeing the early iterations of VR at Disney World in the mid-late 90s. It blew me away. So do I, Quest. So do I, dude. I remember playing Tron in the arcade. Oh my God, who doesn't remember that fucking video game? The old school Tron. Can we type that up 1 second? Tron arcade game was the shit. It had that blue stick on it. Got to play the racing bikes and everything. Here, oh my God, they got them for sale at Target. They got them for sale at Target. What? Oh, this is the mini version. But this game, Tron, dude. Woo, that fucking blue stick that lit up there, man, that they're photoshopping and making it look much bluer than it actually is in real life. I remember that shit. I remember that shit. I remember every little mini game they put on there. Probably one of the first games to have mini games in it. You know, Tron probably one of the first actual games that just focused on mini games, man. I don't know. I could be incorrect about that, but I think that might be the first instances of mini games, man. Tron was awesome. So many different mini games in there. I love that. I love that game. Good reference, buddy. Good reference.
It is requiring all new VR users and most old users to switch to a Facebook account for everything. Practically gone were old Oculus accounts.
I remember that.
And I'm not sure how many people actually
shit.
didn't buy a Quest or get into VR because a Facebook account was required, but the decision at the very least certainly pissed a lot of people off.
Wow.
Especially because it was pretty much promised that this exact thing would never happen. But last year at Connect,
they're distancing themselves from. If Zuck is smart, Zuck will distance himself from Zuck. If Zuck has no vanity at all, which he might not because he's an android, Zuck might realize that he needs to distance himself away from Meta in terms of the public eye as much as possible, because the more we're associating Meta with Zuck, the less Meta popularity is going to be. And I think that's exactly why we just saw that information there.
Meta announced that the Facebook login requirement will be lifted eventually. And nearly a year later, it's finally happening. In fact, a lot is happening. It's not just account-related stuff, it's general terms of service.
Is he cucking himself? Is Zuck cucking himself right now? Like, probably one of the smartest things I've ever seen him do.
Social VR changes, and an entirely new outlook from Meta that appears to be a move to distance itself from its Facebook roots. And all of this change is happening really fast, way faster than these things normally happen. And in fact, if you don't make a Meta account by January 1st, 2023, migrating everything over, your headset will pretty much cease to function until you do. So here's all the details, because there's kind of a lot. Every single user will be required to make a Meta account. You can now optionally link Instagram or a Facebook account, but it's not required.
Listen, Zuckerberg is evilly smart, man. He's got that Bezos mentality, man. Zuck, there's one thing in common. Zuck and Bezos, man, they know what's up. They know how to do it. They know how to manipulate the system. They know how to exploit it. They just slide right into something different, dude. You know, sliding into Meta a couple years, people aren't even going to remember this shit. And they're just going to be like, oh yeah, Meta. Like, dude, It's happening already. It's literally happening already, man.
Any previous purchases can be transferred from an existing Facebook account, then unlinked. This is also the same if you have an Oculus account right now. Oculus accounts will just be migrated to a Meta account. And Meta makes it pretty clear that this new Meta account is not a social media account. Instead, just a way to view and manage your purchased apps.
We are not Facebook. Like that's what that's saying right now. Don't associate us with Facebook. Don't associate us with Zuckerberg. We don't have anything to do with them. That's exactly what it's saying. Like, they're literally telling you, don't do this.
It's still unclear whether there's a real name policy attached to Meta accounts like there was on Facebook accounts, but considering you'll likely be adding payment information, you'll probably be adding that anyways. But whether it's enforced, I'm not sure. In general, your Meta profile is not social in any way. But you're not just required to make a Meta account to manage your games, you'll also be required to make
Listen, they'll start it out that way because they're trying to distance themselves, right? They'll start it out where they're not socializing it and they're not making you important on Meta, right? Until like they're super successful. Once they're super successful, they'll switch the script, and then once again they'll go right back to the old format, and Meta essentially will be Facebook but with VR capabilities, and everybody's plugged in, and it'll be the same fucking thing again, man. Just repackage it. They're just gonna repackage it. It's just gonna take multi years. It's a decade thing.
A Meta Horizon profile, which is a social profile, but it's much closer to something like an Xbox Live account with username, profile picture, avatar, and follow system, similar to Twitter rather than a friend system. And like I said, this is obligatory.
Of course,
if you want to use your Quest or Oculus software, you're gonna have to make the switch starting next.
There has to be VR nudes, or nobody's gonna use it. So nudes will be in there, Kev. I know that makes you happy.
Month, and you'll have until pretty much 2023 to do it. And you know what? This is good. This is a good change. I don't honestly think anybody in the world except for Facebook higher-ups thought that linking a Facebook account to use a Quest was a good idea. And I don't think anybody liked having to do it. I mean, I don't even want to.
Right, but I think what Thrill Seeker's not picking up is they're just gonna fucking hook you in, and when you're in Meta, they'll figure it out and play it again, Sam. You know, I think that's what he's not making the next step to, which is unusual. Maybe we'll step to that and talk about that on another video.
It's a Facebook account, to be honest, but I had to have one to use a Quest 2, and that was pretty much the rule for everybody. But now that requirement is completely gone. But this is where it kind of gets a little weird. There are going to be a lot of people that say, this is no different. Facebook is Meta. A Meta account is a Facebook account just under a different name. And, well, sort of, but not really. I mean, yes, it is.
Yet. This is good. I love Thrill Seeker. This is great, because he's fucking A, man. This man knows what he's talking about. I love this dude.
An account with the company Meta, so is a Facebook account. And your data isn't safer with either one. But the fact is, it's not a Facebook account. It's not a social media account where, for example, getting banned on one affects the other. It's its own collected thing that for now is only being used for VR purposes. So it's now is
these words right here, right? For now, right? Come on, man. Like man. Capitalism. Guys, I have to say this, guys. And most of us know this, but for those that don't, that are watching, hi, welcome to DG360. Apparently, I'm a reaction channel. Hi, I'm a reaction channel. Can you believe it? I have nothing important to say. I have no commentary, and you're only here for me to go like this. Ha, hoo, ha, he, ho, ha, 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 ha. No, you're actually here for more than that. Listen. For now. Right, Jade. Right. Low effort, right? E-Rad's right. Low effort videos. Low effort videos.
It's only being used for VR purposes. So it's not the same thing.
Right.
And this is a big win for VR users. We all asked for 2 years for Facebook to remove the Facebook login requirements, and they did. And there are still going to be people that are unhappy, but I think those people will just be unhappy with anything Meta does ever. And frankly, we've taken a lot of L's in the VR community, but this is a W.
Yes.
And
agree.
I still can't shake the fact that none of this had to happen anyways.
We
started with Oculus accounts, then we had to make Facebook accounts. Now we're having to migrate to totally new accounts. It's weird, and I still...
It's called evolution, right? They're trying to figure out the best way to monetize it. Yes, it is a win. It is definitely a win for the VR industry. He's absolutely right. But see, what's happening here is it's brand new. Adoption is happening. People are becoming more savvy in the VR world. More people are hopping on board. And what's end up happening is these large corpo moves that you're seeing where they're trying to take the platform and they're trying to adapt it so that it's cool to bring on the massive onboarding of people. After they've massively brought them on, they will flip the script. They will flip it.
We'll have to do some fine print reading, but at least on the surface, we got what we wanted. Facebook is gone from the Quest.
Take the win.
And this doesn't mean Meta's in the clear or that there's some knight in shining armor. The only thing they really did here was fix the problem that they created, so of course, we can still be critical. But I think in a lot of ways...
I wonder if he made that decision. How many people think that Zuck made that decision himself? Or that somebody actually had to have a long conversation with him? Do one if you think Zuck was smart enough to think of that himself and just completely cuck himself away from Meta. Put a 1 in there. Put a 2 in there if you think somebody actually had to approach him and say it. See, some people think that Zuck has too much vanity. I'm wondering if that exists with Zuck, but a lot of people in here say 2. A lot of people say that he got approached by them. Somebody came up on the board. Somebody had a conversation. Look at all the 2s. Look at all the 2s, man. Dude, I hate to do this. I hate to do this to my fam. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm going to go the other way on that one. I'm going to go the other way on that one. Dude, he doesn't get to where he's at without being a fucking genius. I literally have to say I think he cucked himself. I literally don't think he has that vanity. I think Bezos has that vanity. I think Elon has that vanity. I don't think that Zuck has that vanity because he's just like an android. Like, I don't think he has that component. He thinks very logarithmically. He thinks he's always very calculated. Like every interview I've ever seen, especially when he was on trial, right? and they had him up there. He was very calculated in his speech. I just honestly think it's 1. Interesting. I'm going against the fam on this one. I literally going against... Sagerbaum says he's not a genius. He's lucky. And his genius is working for him. Could have amazingly good luck. Could have, Sage. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Oh, man. What's up? What's up, Max? Welcome to the fam, dude. Glad to have you in here, man. Glad to have you in here. Look at you guys talking and communicating in here. This is beautiful. This is organic. This is a beautiful thing happening here. Are you getting close to one another? Are you feeling each other out? I love it. How does it feel? Does it feel good? Sorry. Back to the show.
All of our voices and discontent over the past couple of years was a big part of this decision. And I'm pretty proud of everyone in the VR community that spoke out against this decision originally. We can't...
Grab your chicken suit. Grab it. What's up, Lucky? Welcome to the fam, bro. This is what you're getting involved in. Sorry.
And make changes. This is kind of proof of it. But I also just realized if 15+ million people are forced to make Meta Horizon accounts, doesn't that instantly make Meta Horizon the biggest VR-centered social platform out there? Was this just their plan all along? I don't know, but hey, no more Facebook tied to Quest, so that's good.
Of course this was their plan all along. And there's a
whole new Quest update to talk about, but first, it's time for a meme break!
I don't think that's necessarily so conspiracy, by the way, man. It's just like corporate shit. It's corporate does what corporate does. You know, corporate does what corporate does. Meme break.
You're enjoying some sweet VR, having a great time until you need a swing. Then this happens. Look, just watch your link cables. I know I've done this a few times. But now, back to the news. The Quest and Quest 2 are about to receive the newest software update V42, bringing just a couple new features to the table. Although Meta did have a weird way of wording this update, what is the meaning of life, the universe, and everything? And now we know, it's our latest Meta Quest software update V42. I mean, if new achievements and parental supervision is the meaning of life, But yeah, I get it, 42. Anyways, the new update brings Oculus Move achievements, allowing you to attain fitness badges daily based on your movement in VR, and also some new features to the parental supervision tools, allowing parents to turn off social features in Horizon. A fairly modest update, definitely doesn't need a whole video on its own,
Absolutely.
but I do think
I love what was just said. Best gear, no gear, says Fingers. Fucking holodeck, fucking Star Trek. Congratulations. Fingers wins. And what does he win? More DG360. I'm sorry.
V43 and 44 are going to bring some pretty big things. Although I do have to ask, what is up with things still being called Oculus?
How you doing,
Oculus
Bobby?
Move. Not that I'm complaining, I guess. I mean, I like Oculus. But everything has shifted to being called Meta. It makes no sense that a feature being addressed in a new update is still being called Oculus when you've shifted everything else. I don't know, it's just kind of confusing. But now, rejoice, Valve Index users. Finally, 3 years after launch, it looks like we may have a wireless solution for the Index if you have quite a bit of money to cough up, that is. Nofio just announced a Kickstarter campaign to launch a Wi-Fi 6E transmitter for the Valve Index to allow wireless PC VR to play.
Ostentageous says, yep, was always the plan. Zuck is such an android, he thought people would buy it first time. He for sure needing his... He for sure needing his failure pointed out. Ooh.
Up to 5 to 10 meters.
Ooh,
also,
some fire.
This is the lowest latency wireless video
on
the market, getting latency down to as low as 5 milliseconds. The module attaches to the back of the Index and has a battery life of around 2 hours, give or take. But you could always just use a bigger battery bank, I suppose. But this thing just isn't going to be coming in cheap. Nofio is expecting the price to be between $399 and $499, almost half the price of the Index kit itself, and I don't know about this, to be honest. Of course, it's a dream to have a wireless Index, but that's quite a chunk of change to spare, and I'm gonna have to try it out for myself and make a video on it when it does launch before I can really tell if it's worth it for that price. Yeah. It's just a little embarrassing for, I don't know, the hardcore PC VR enthusiast that a Quest 2 is cheaper and wireless than the wireless edition.
I'm not down with that fucking shit. I'm not down with games like that. That's not why I would want VR. I like the FPS. I like the FPS on the VR.
For the Index, but the Index having native lighthouse tracking does make it appealing. I don't know, like I said, I'm definitely wanting to get my hands on one before I have too much of an opinion, but
that's what I said though, you know, like that premier top, right, is always going to be like for the exotic ones, for the people spending the most money. It's always going to start with the most money. VR in the way that it's going to kind of trickle down is it's always going to start with like the best experience at the top for the people who have the most money, and then it's going to trickle down, and over the years that'll evolve and they'll commoditize it and they'll bring the prices down and they'll make the experience just as fucking creamy as it is right now for the people who have the money. But that's going to take 11 years. That's literally going to take 11 years.
Excited, and they're planning on shipping Q1 of 2033. But in other fun Valve news, this July 18th is the start of Steam VR Fest, a big celebration of Steam VR titles where you'll probably see a ton of VR games go on sale. So if you've had your eyes on a game or two, or your headset has been gathering dust or only used for VRChat, this coming week may be the time to snag it up. So I've been pretty excited about Meta's upcoming headset, Project Cambria, and this is for a variety of reasons. It was announced to have eye tracking, face tracking, improved comfort, new controllers, and a few other nice things I've been wanting in VR. Well, we have some new information on it. Looks like officially this is going to be called the Quest Pro, but that's kind of unofficial as well. Not Quest 2 Pro, just Quest Pro. Also, it may be significantly more expensive than we were all expecting, significantly more expensive. Poised to be a very professional mixed reality headset, competing more with HoloLens than a Quest or Index. And according to a few sources, it may not ship with controllers, which is kind of one of the things I was most excited about. The new controller is ditching the Quest tracking ring for their own onboard camera tracking. Instead, the Pro will use hand tracking as its primary input. This, of course, isn't confirmed.
Okay, and hand tracking right now is really messy, but look at that, Fingers. Look at that, dude. Fingers said it earlier. The best gear is no gear, right? Dude, it's already happening. Right, best gear, no gear. Listen. It's already happening now. So while I didn't even know this. I should have. But look at this. Now, it's probably going to be really sloppy with hand tracking, dude, but they got to get that shit precision. So what do you think that they're doing right now? They're having the AI look at the different hand gestures, and they're collecting the data of all the hand movements ever on different hands from different people. Trust me. Trust me, what they're doing with this is they're sucking in data on this so they can feed it to the fucking code, to the algorithm that does movement, man. Like all this shit just being sent. Every fucking movement you guys do, it's going to be fucking recorded. Go ahead. Good. It's going to create us the fucking holodeck. I don't care. Take that fucking data right now. Here, do it right now off Twitch. I know you're doing it. Look at my hands. I got superpowers. That was awesome. I just found this out, Pepe. I have superpowers. I just love that. I found that out last night, and I'm going to do it now on like every stream because it makes me feel like a Marvel character. I don't know what my name would be, but I'm thinking about names. So you guys got to type in some names on what you think my name should be.
Confirmed, but it has been reported to be this way. And now I'm kind of thinking, how expensive is this thing really going to be?
I'm Dirty Hands. I'm putting germs all over you. Yeah, like I fucking shoot out like germs. Like, you know, like, oh my God, Jeremy, Spunky Hand Man. Spunky Hand. Mercury mitts. Mercury. Oh, it'll get better, Jade. Jade's like, VR is too jank for me. And you know what? At the price point that you're talking about right now for the average user, which is us, you know, Jade, yeah, VR is a little jank for me. There's a couple good experiences out there for cheap, but not many. And I actually agree with you, but Jade, it's going to just continually evolve, you know? It's just going to continually evolve. Leprosy palms. I still like Spunky Hand Man. I think we'll give that to Boy. I like Spunky Hand Man. Am I getting banned, Pepe? I'm getting banned, aren't I? I knew it. Again, I've only been banned 3 times. And I'm proud of that. I'm actually very proud of that. Why not 4? Let's make it 4.
Be like $600 expensive or $2,000 expensive, because some reports are leaning towards the latter, which, unless the Pro really offers something spectacular, that kind of kills a lot of the hype I originally had for it. I don't know, how much would you pay for a Quest Pro realistically? I guess we'll all have to see.
SHM shirts, just SHM. Spunky Hand Man. I've only been thrown off of Twitch twice, and I've been thrown off of YouTube once. So we're working on 3 here. At times I've been banned from platforms. Let's just make it 4. Let's just keep it going. Let's keep it going.
Yeah, I think for me, maybe around the $700 to $800 mark is where I would draw the line. But what about you guys? But now it's time for question of the week from Air1. Given that the VRChat team isn't really updating the game to remove bugs and crashers, would an alternative game be a good idea? So I'm not trying to make VRChat out to be some perfect app, because it's certainly not. There's a lot that can be better, but VRChat is growing pretty darn fast, and with that growth, you're gonna have a lot of people.
We're gonna watch something later on in the day about VRChat and what's going on over there, because apparently it's on fire. Apparently the VRChat community is like on fire about something, and I just gotta know what the fuck's going on. So I think we do another thrill seeker video about VRChat. It might be after this.
People trying to exploit the game or app to make other people's experience worse. And it's more the people's fault doing these things to other people than it is the VRChat team. Right now, the best way to stop this is to get really good at blocking malicious people fast, or at least hiding avatars. It's a band-aid solution, and VRChat could do a lot more, but I can't really imagine a VR social app as free and open as VRChat not having these sorts of problems. People are just kind of mean. People are also really nice, but you know, they're also mean. However, if you are seeking alternatives that may have different sorts of players, Chill Out VR and Neo's.
Listen, if you're worried about being people being mean, just do what I do. Slap yourself in the face and be like, you have no feelings. Just say I have no feelings. And you know, the interesting thing is, wow, what it does for you. You know, like very thick skin. Sure, you know, like you can make sure that you never get hurt emotionally again or offended, but you can never feel love either, and it's very sad for me. Kirsty always says to me, geez, you really remind me of Zuckerberg, DG, because you're lifeless and emotionless. I say that's because I smack myself in the face, and I strive not to be offended. I strive for it. I'm a
both
machine.
Exist, and they're awesome on their own. I just prefer VRChat for now. And that's question of the week. Leave your own down below and I may just answer yours next. I do want to say thank you to all of my Patreon supporters, especially my Omegas.
I'm sorry to laugh at my own shit, but I honestly never know what I'm going to say. So that was really interesting. And I want to see if I did put the, oh my goodness, we're going to talk about something next. It's going to be really exciting. All right. Let's get ready, guys. Hold on a second. I got to get prepared for this. By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you for watching the highlight. We appreciate you. We love the fact that you're crazy. We love the fact that you're still here watching on YouTube. We would love to see you here live. Go check our Twitch channel. Look at the schedule every time, every week. It's always up to date. Thursdays, Fridays, without missing. I only missed like one time this year. And just we're going to be consistent and we're going to own it up. And I love you guys. Let's get on to the next one. If you're watching on YouTube, break the algorithm, push like, do all the things that you need to do. Don't forget, become a member. Sexy highlights. Really sexy. The stuff from OnlyFans page.